Welcome to Underworld UK, where Britain's darkest stories are brought to light. From the gritty streets of Gangland, London, Liverpool, Manchester and Birmingham, from Curtis Warren to the Cray twins to county lines and modern-day true crime, we cover everything. Bringing you new videos every week. Subscribe so that you'll be notified when the next video is put out.
Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy true crime videos, especially about Gangland UK, can you please subscribe to the channel and give us a like? It really helps this channel grow. It's the best way to support us, and it really is appreciated. Thank you. Today's video is about a lad that was the banker and broker for organised crime gangs. He also has a famous musician as a father. The user of the EncroChat handle, OwnRaptor, was unmasked by his takeaway orders and purchase of Liverpool FC tickets. Thomas Hooton utilised the encrypted messaging service in order to traffic heroin, cocaine, ketamine and cannabis worth more than £600,000 across the country. An associate sent Thomas Hooton, 30, a picture of his father Peter, lead singer with The Farm, and made comments that linked Thomas to his father. Thomas Hooton, 30, from Victoria Road West in Crosby, was sentenced to 10 years and 8 months at Liverpool Crown Court on the Friday, 25th of July, after admitting to conspiring to supply heroin, cocaine, cannabis and ketamine. Messages recovered from the service revealed Hooton's involvement in County Line's drug supply operations, stretching from Scotland to the south of England. A network of couriers and his enthusiastic involvement in the supply of drugs on an almost daily basis allowed him to become well established and trusted by those involved in top-level criminality. But following his downfall, scores of prominent individuals, including West Derby MP Ian Byrne and a Knight of the Realm, have penned a series of character references to the court, showing another side to the defendant and his genuine remorse. Specialist investigators had managed to nick the drug dealer after piecing together a number of clues about his identity, including pictures of his musician dad with the Champions League trophy. On one occasion, an associate sent Hooton a picture of his dad Peter and also made comments linking the criminal to him. His drug supply operations were on an almost daily basis. They were sustained and spanned the UK, working with high-level criminals. EncroChat was infiltrated and taken down in 2020 by a European task force. Liverpool Crown Court heard this afternoon Friday that Hooton of Victoria Road West in Crosby was linked to the EncroChat handle OwnRaptor by other users, saving his details under the names Tom, Tom H and Hoot. The 30-year-old also referenced driving a black Audi A3 in his messages, a vehicle which he had been insured to drive at the relevant time. DCI Lindsay Armbruster of Merseyside Police said, "It's clear Hooton was involved in organised crime for a long time before he was charged. His criminal and geographical reach will have taken considerable time to establish. His drug supply operations were on an almost daily basis. They were sustained and spanned the UK, working with high-level criminals." Henry Riding, prosecuting, meanwhile described how a phone number which had been given out by the account holder had been used to order takeaways which were delivered to his address, as well as to purchase tickets to LFC matches. The Encro phone was further shown to have, most frequently, connected to cell masts covering his home. In total, Hooton had 41 other handles saved on his device. He was shown to have been in contact with 20 of these during the period in 2020, in which French police were able to gain access to the network. These communications evidenced his involvement in the supply of 3.25 kilograms of heroin, 10 kilograms of cocaine, 2.5 kilograms of ketamine, 42.5 grams of cannabis, and 13.5 grams of cannabis resin, drugs worth an estimated £667,000. He was also shown to have been linked to the movement of £490,000 in criminal cash. EncroChat's takedown continues to yield results, with law enforcement across Europe still making arrests based on data recovered during the breach. The Merseyside OCP remains committed to targeting organised crime groups and preventing drugs and firearms from entering local and regional criminal markets. Hooton, who was belatedly arrested in April this year, has no previous convictions. Charles Lander, defending, told the court that his client came from a close-knit and loving family, but had lost his way and began mixing with the wrong crowd. He added, "There are prominent individuals who have taken time from their busy lives to write on behalf of the defendant and his family. None seek to downplay the seriousness of the defendant's actions, but I hope they show the court that there is another side to the defendant." All of those references speak of the defendant's genuine remorse. The defendant has already impressed staff while beginning his custodial sentence. He has already been promoted to peer mentor status and has already been given a trusted job, working in healthcare. The defendant's family are devastated by his actions. Family friends who have known the family for many years have written to the court, and none can comprehend why he has behaved as he did. There were others who operated above the defendant in the hierarchy. All of those people who have written references speak of the shame that he has brought on the family. Your Honour will see words such as devastation. His parents, grandparents and partner are all adjusting to the fact that he will not be around for a number of years. I ask the court to reflect on the positive features that Your Honour knows about him. This is a defendant who has begun the first steps of rehabilitation. He is determined to lead a law-abiding lifestyle and not trouble the courts again. Hooton admitted conspiracy to supply heroin, cocaine, ketamine, cannabis and cannabis resin. Appearing via video link to HMP Berwyn wearing a sky blue polo shirt, he was jailed for 10 years and 8 months. Judge Dennis Watson KC said that Ian Byrne MP and Sir Paul Grant had been among those who had written references on Hooton's behalf, adding in his sentencing remarks, "Yours is another case which arises out of investigations by the police and the National Crime Agency into the activities of users of encrypted phones. This case concerns the supply of large quantities of Class A and B drugs. The Class A drugs alone are worth over £400,000 at wholesale prices. They would be worth considerably more when valued at street-level deals. When one adds the Class B drugs, the total value comes to over £660,000. Remorse and personal circumstances can play a significant part in the determination of sentences at the lower end, but for crimes of the seriousness involved here, the part that they can play is much more limited. Lest anyone overlook this, all drug supply offences are offences of significant gravity and seriousness. These offences result in degradation and human misery for those who take the drugs and for their families and the wider community. So much crime and the impact of that crime on victims and society generally flows from drug supply and the consequences of it. Of course, involvement in serious crime impacts on offenders. It impacts on you and your aspirations. That, and the other impact of your offending has, of course, been spoken of by family members and friends in their letters. The more serious the offence, generally speaking, the less likely it is that these personal matters can have any significant impact. Notwithstanding that, all of these matters are taken into account. Unfortunately, those who know you, your family in particular, join the list of those who are affected by your crimes. You played a leading role in this enterprise by arranging the supply of significant quantities of Class A drugs and Class B drugs. You have also been involved in acquiring large amounts of money from the supply of drugs, which was happening on an almost daily basis and appeared to span the UK. You were working with high-level criminal associates and used, effectively, a county line supply network to supply others in Scotland, the North East and the south of England. I note that there was discussion about buying a van which had a concealed compartment, or hide, capable of taking multi-kilograms of drugs in transport without it being particularly obvious. Of course, this involved couriers having to do the legwork, the high-risk work, as they ran drugs up and down the country. The supply of drugs on credit and the ability to purchase kilo amounts all indicate someone who was well established and trusted by those involved in this top-level supply of controlled drugs. You come from a very supportive family. You have done well at school, and your involvement in this sort of offending has destroyed your family and devastated them in so many ways. References from those who know you speak of the different side of you. While you may have involved yourself enthusiastically in the supply of drugs in 2020, you have, since your arrest, showed as much determination as you can to leave this behind you and look ahead through a different lens. Hooton will be brought back before the same court later this year, when he could be ordered to repay his ill-gotten gains under the Proceeds of Crime Act. The National Crime Agency's Detective Chief Inspector Lindsay Armbruster said, following the hearing, "It's clear Hooton was involved in organised crime for a long time before he was charged. His criminal and geographical reach will have taken considerable time to establish. His drug supply operations were on an almost daily basis. They were sustained and spanned the UK, working with high-level criminals."